Hello and welcome back to the channel Labo Bonsai. In this video we're going to go over the top 3 beginner bonsai trees that you can use to get started, and junipers are not going to be included in this video. They're not really beginner friendly and I cannot keep those things alive. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with the video. So the first tree I want to show you, in no particular order, Ficus. Ficus are just great, and I started to love them so much. One of my favorite tree species. We have a Ficus benjamina right here and a Ficus microcarpa. Same care for both of them. They are tropicals and they are really easy to work with. Really strong, hardy, and forgiving trees. You can root prune and repot and they're just gonna wake up like crazy. If you make a mistake on one of them, they're really forgiving. They're really easy. Now, one thing that I see a lot, and I don't really recommend it too much, only if you don't really have the space outside or if you live like in an apartment with no balcony. This could be an indoor bonsai. Now, with any tree, it's going to do so much better outside, but these, under the right lighting characteristics, it's going to do good. So it could be an indoor bonsai. Again, they are really fast growers, so you'll be able to develop a nice looking bonsai tree in shorter time as opposed to some other bonsai trees that take a lot of years and they develop real slow. So ficuses, there's a lot of them, and the good thing about these trees is that you can find them on big box stores. You can find it for $25, something smaller, of course. But again, they develop real easy. Something great about this as well is that if you take a cutting off of this and just stick it in some soil with rooting hormone, that thing is just going to shoot roots real easy, and you're going to have a new little bonsai tree ready to be developed. So this is a great bonsai tree for beginners. Now, the number 2 tree that I want to talk about, Chinese elms. So popular, you will find them pretty much anywhere. Sometimes you'll see them at big box stores as well. But these are some really hardy trees. This can't really be indoor trees. They are deciduous trees, which means that they need a dormancy. They go dormant during winter, they shed the leaves, and go dormant. In spring, they grow new leaves, and they wake up and they start their growth season. So really important for them to go into dormancy. Now, what's great about these trees, again, they're really hardy. So, for instance, this tree is not really in a bonsai pot at the moment, but on springtime, I'm gonna root prune half of this thing and put it in a smaller container, and this is gonna be responding real well because it's a really hardy tree. And another thing that makes it great for bonsai is the leaves. I'm not sure if you can see that, but they're just so tiny, really tiny. So this makes it great for bonsai because it really mimics a real tree with nice small leaves in a really small container. So Chinese elms are really good. Here in Texas, the last winters we had really cold winters, and sometimes dropping to like 12 degrees Fahrenheit, and this tree has managed to pull off and without any issues and be good to go. This is my first tree that I ever had, um, the nicest one. So, yep, this is really a hardy tree. It's beautiful tree for bonsai. You can develop it. Another thing that I want to mention is how hardy it is. I'm gonna set an example. So this branch right here, I was wiring this branch to make it move a little bit, and I completely broke this branch, and it was just holding into a small little piece. So what I did, I wrapped it in some plastic, and here's a branch growing strong. So Chinese elm is a great beginner bonsai tree that you can start with. And last but not least, we have Jade. So this right here is a Portulacaria afra. It's pretty much behaves the same as a jade or elephant bush. There's different names that people call it. This is a cork bark, which builds a really nice bark looking trunk, makes it look like an older tree. But this is such a great tree for bonsai. It grows real quick and it takes pretty much anything you throw at it. Let's say you forgot to water your trees one day, and you're like, oh man, I have to water my tree. You go outside, and this thing looks as fresh as if you just watered it. This is really, really tolerant to that, and it multiplies like rabbits. It's really, really easy to propagate. These are just cuttings that I took off from this one, and as you can see, they're already rooted and ready to be planted into its own little pot. Now, what's great about these ones as well is that they grow real quick. They can be indoors under the right lighting, but of course, it's going to do so much better outside in the wintertime, just like ficus. You want to bring them inside to avoid the freezes and coldness. But this ones as well, it's really easy to shape them up because let's say you trim a branch that's straight, you trim that, and two more are going to grow like that. So it's really, really easy. So this is one of the best bonsai tree beginners that you can start with, and as well as the two others that I showed you. And this one is not as nice. I'm just getting started and developing it. This is my very first one, but as you can see, it's just really healthy, and it's got really nice leaves. So they're really, really tiny. So let me take one off here just for you guys. Same thing as the Chinese elm. Tiny leaves make it look like more natural tree outdoors. You are able to just propagate this real easy, and another great tree for bonsai. Now, the reason why junipers are not in this list, you might be wondering, I started with a juniper and it ended up dying on me. They're really, really hard to, well, they're not hard, but they're just not really meant for beginners. They require more attention. They're more prone to getting different things like spider mites or things like those. And myself, I cannot keep those things alive. And you need to have them outdoors the whole time. They need full sun. You need to have the proper watering technique for them. They're just not really beginner friendly. But once you start with these trees that I showed you, and you get more experience, better skills, and building more confidence, then you can go ahead and get started with a juniper. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you are able to grab yourself a bonsai tree. Please subscribe, that helps a lot. Share, and you have a wonderful day.